Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Robotech.
Come on now and set sail for the future. Fly the sky, oh, the lava.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cellcast.
The animated series.
Joining me today is a man who, well, he just found himself on a weird planet facing a bunch of Klingons, Romulans, and Binars. Welcome, Jacob.
Why, thank you. Man, it's exhausting. Let me introduce our co-host, a man who finally, after 5 seasons, had to get something off his chest. Welcome, Drew.
4 seasons.
4 seasons. Whatever.
This is only season 4 of
Okay.
this show.
Okay, season 4. 4 seasons off his chest.
Yeah. Okay. This is, of course, like you said, season 4, episode 9. The
yes.
episode is called The Inner Fight. It was directed by Brandon Williams and written by Mike McMahon. Or McMahon? I always say this guy's name wrong. I'm sorry, Mike. Guest cast includes Eric Bauza as Jem, John Curry as Ma'a, Carrie Walgren as Cosmia and Kaylor, and guest starring Robert Duncan McNeil in his first Star Trek role, Nick Lorcano. I have to say, it's the first Star Trek role because he's arguably more famous for playing Tom Paris on Star Trek Voyager and has already appeared on this show back in season 2 as Tom Paris in the episode We'll Always Have Tom Paris.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering why he looked like Tom Paris, that's why. So yeah, I have some explaining, some deep explaining because I actually suspect and suggest that you go check out the Next Generation episodes, The First Duty and Lower Decks, which are season 5 and season 7 episodes respectively, because I have a suspicion based on what happened in this episode, you may want to know what happened in those episodes, which is odd because these are actually these all the characters from this that are important are minor characters kind of in those episodes. So The First Duty is a Wesley Crusher episode of The Next Generation. So it starts off with negative points for that because I don't like Wesley, as you can probably tell. Also kind of surprised Wesley hasn't shown up on the show yet.
Yeah, I'm shocked too.
But we'll come back to that. Wesley, in that episode, Wesley had since gone off to Starfleet Academy. He wasn't a main character on the show anymore. And he was like a second year student or a third year. I don't quite remember which. I think it was second year. But because of his advanced training, piloting the flagship of the Federation fleet, because he's Wesley Crusher, he was on this elite piloting squadron.
Yes.
That was being head up by this Nick Lorcano. Also on this squadron was Sito.
Who's Sito?
The person that Mariner was saying she looked up to in this episode.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
This is why I'm bringing this up.
Oh.
She actually first was in this episode also.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
She is a part of the squadron. And what happened is, in this episode, is there was an accident that caused the death of one of the members of their squadron. the reason the accident took place is because they were doing a forbidden maneuver that was kind of a showboating kind of thing.
Yeah.
Something that brain just farted. The guy on the show that's the engineering guy with the implant. My brain just farted. What's his name?
Rutherford.
Rutherford. Something Rutherford before the implant would have probably been doing.
Yeah.
Because it's that kind of like it's a very dangerous maneuver.
Underground dangerous stuff.
It's a dangerous maneuver that they were doing to show off.
Yeah.
Because if it had succeeded, it'd been great. But because they're doing this, they were actually all in a lot of trouble, and all could have been expelled from Starfleet Academy for doing this. And Nick Larcano is the one, was being the leader of the group, is the one who suggested rather forcefully that the remaining squadron members all lie and say, we don't know why this happened. Basically, the name of the episode, First Duty, is a reference to what Picard will say later. Picard says later to Wesley Crusher in the episode that the first duty of every Starfleet officer is to the truth and to tell the truth. Wesley and everyone but Nick Larcano in this episode gets kind of their hands slapped because they did all come up and tell the truth at the end of the episode. So they got they all got held back a year.
Yeah.
Sito in this episode, what I believe was a 4th year, so she got held back 1 year to have to repeat her 4th year again, which is the only reason she would have probably. When Nick Larcano, he did get expelled because he was the commander, and not only did he authorize and suggest that they do this dangerous maneuver, he's also the one that told his whole squadron to lie.
Yeah.
So he got the brunt of everything and got kicked out of Starfleet at the academy.
That makes
level.
more sense now. It's like, okay.
Right. Interestingly enough, just to cover the rest of the Tom Paris connection, the character of Tom Paris was actually based on this character.
Yeah.
And I actually thought for a long time when I was originally watching Voyager that this was the same character because it's the same actor, same basic backstory.
Yeah.
I, as a kid, didn't make the connection that this wasn't the same guy, which is interesting because there's an episode later on in Voyager where we actually see Tom Paris's dad, who's an admiral, and he has a picture of Tom on his desk, and it's actually a picture from this episode of Nick Larcano in his cadet uniform.
Oh,
because they had no other.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
They had the ability. That's what they did. So, Ensign Sito would actually get to move on and show up in the season 7 episode Lower Decks, aka the show, the episode of Star Trek: Next Generation that this show is basically inspired by.
Ah, okay.
And in that episode, it's following the lives of these. Actually, it actually ends up being 5 characters.
Yeah.
It's the 4 Starfleet officers and 1 bartender who are on the Enterprise. One of them being Sito. Which at that point we learned she's her full name is Sito Jaxa because she's Bajoran. The surname comes first.
Okay.
The family name comes first. She, a Vulcan, and I believe 2 humans. They are going about their daily lives, but they're all involved in the same mission that the Enterprise is on and doing different things for this, but they all don't have any idea as to what it occurs to. At one point, Sito does get pulled into Picard's ready room. He does make sure he does bring up the fact of her previous turmoil in the other episode she was in, and she at one point I think she says that she thinks she's getting like picked on or something.
Yeah.
Or like she doesn't understand why Picard even let her on the Enterprise, and he said it's because you came back and told the truth that I was even aware of you, and I followed your career after that, and that's why I requested you on the Enterprise. So the reason he wanted to talk to her though is because they were doing a mission on the Cardassian border, and because she's Bajoran, they used her on a secret mission because there was a chance they didn't want the Starfleet could not be shown as being involved in whatever this was. But they were still going to have to use a runabout, not a runabout, a shuttle
Yeah.
that they were going to claim was stolen by a Bajoran terrorists. So they needed a Bajoran to pilot it, and they made sure that even though she has learned the importance of truth, that she will not she'll not give away everything, and that she's fine. She understands what the point of the mission is. And so the end of that episode is her flying off and them and almost having to deal with the fact that they just lost, their coworker. And immediately after this, after this episode aired, it's never shown if the character actually died or not, because pretty much everyone working on the show loved the character so much they didn't actually want her killed. But they couldn't show her surviving for the story, so they just say, it got captured. She got captured, and probably she was killed. Yeah, plans were in place. They immediately after Ronald D. Moore, the one of the producers on the show, went to the showrunner and says, "We can't kill this character. We have to bring her back somehow." They didn't have time before Next Generation got canceled, because this was season 7. So they were going to make plans for her rescue to be in Deep Space Nine, since Deep Space Nine was continuing the story of the beginnings of the Dominion War. Yeah, which all of this is all prelude to. Yes. Which is the whole thing that Mariner in this episode explains is why she is an ensign, because she does not want to be a general sending her friends off to get killed. Yeah, because she wanted to be like Sita, but Sita was like this, and she got killed, as far as she knows. I have suspicions about what's coming in the next episode. Okay, which is interesting because this actress does not act anymore. I played Sita. Really? She's a social worker in Los Angeles. Really? So she could still come in and do voice acting, hopefully. But I would be surprised if she doesn't show up. At least in flashbacks. Okay. I don't expect them to actually have her still be alive, but I could be wrong. So, but all that being said, more than likely, Mariner knows Larcano. If she's aware of this, she's at least aware of the story. Because I guarantee your Cito probably told her. So there's all that little bit of interest there. Wow. Okay. This and bear in mind, these are just 2 random episodes that the only reason they're even part of the same arc is because they decided to reuse Sita. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So yeah, this is why I put in the Cellcat chat on the Facebook Messenger. You might want to go look up these episodes, because A, they're really good episodes anyway. Yeah. But B, this is what they're pulling from. Wow. For these characters. So yeah. This episode also has a similar title to the Next Generation episode, season 5 episode, The Inner Light, which is a very good episode featuring Picard. Okay. Where there's 4 lights, that's where they come from? No, that's from a different that's from Chain of Command. Okay, got it. The Inner Light here, the episode The Inner Light is about a weird little probe sends a signal towards the Enterprise, and it causes Picard to relive an entire alien person's life on this planet, and like 70 years of it in like 5 minutes. It's after this, he has the flute that he plays. He learned it as he was living this guy's life. Yeah. And it's a good episode. Yeah. But it was one of those things that it helped flesh out Picard's character, because Picard and this guy apparently were a lot alike. Anyway, the protection suit helmets in the cold open resemble the spacesuit helmets seen in the original series episode, The Tholian Web. Starfleet is tasked with the recovery of 4 yet-to-be-found ex-Starfleet members, including Beverly Crusher, 7 of 9, Thomas Riker, and, of course, Nick Larcano. While 7 and Dr. Crusher's futures following the events of Voyager's Endgame and Star Trek Nemesis, respectively, were revealed to the audience in Star Trek Picard, this is the first indication of Thomas Riker's survival after he was imprisoned after his imprisonment subsequent to the events of the Deep Space Nine episode Defiant, where it was discovered he was working for the Maquis, a Federation terrorist organization. I gotcha. As well as the ongoing activities of Larcano, which we still don't know exactly what he was doing, other than living on, apparently, Tatooine. That's basically what that place was. It was an evil hive of scum and villainy. Mariner and T'Lyn finally make the connection that they were both present at the battle in the season 2 episode Wedge Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
This episode marks the first post-Dominion War appearance of Cardassians, period. Chronologically.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
This is in the series, but the more I'm thinking about it, they were not in Nemesis, which took place immediately before this.
True.
That movie. And they were not in Voyager at the end. So, this would be the first time since what would be season 5 of Voyager, which was season 7 of Deep Space Nine, that had Cardassians in it.
Okay.
Chronologically, because I mean they have shown up in like Discovery, which had some episodes before this, and a couple other ones. Anyway, this episode reveals that Mariner was once friends with Sito Jaxa, who made a significant impact on Mariner's view of Starfleet, which I already mentioned. She's from from the episode Lower Decks. Mr. Broker resembles Baylock's puppet from the original series episode The Corbomite Maneuver, though he is not actually a puppet himself. So you've seen the ending credits of the original series where it's showing like the different shots from like different episodes, and there's this one of this weird alien facing the screen usually near the end.
I think so.
That's the guy.
Okay.
He's actually a puppet being controlled by Richie Cunningham, who's also a director. That guy. What's his name? He was Opie on the Andy Griffith Show.
Ron
Howard. Ron Howard's brother Clint.
Oh,
that
okay.
is Clint Howard.
Okay.
That played Baylock.
I gotcha.
So yeah, I am sorry. I am bad with names tonight.
Fair.
The emblem painted on the IKS Cheetah and appearing on Locarno's jacket is a stylized depiction of the Colvord Starburst, the same band maneuver he and the members of Nova Squadron attempted unsuccessfully in the first duty.
Wow.
Resulting, among other consequences, his expulsion from Starfleet Academy.
Wow.
This is, you're saying without any knowledge of previous Star Trek, this is a good episode. I was sitting here yesterday morning before work watching, Larcano. Why do I remember the name Larcano? 360. He's that guy. Wait, that's Tom. Is Robert Duncan McNeil in this episode? Are you actually going to mention the fact that he and Paris look a lot alike? Boimler has to say this at some point.
Yeah.
Because he knows Paris. Yeah. He's got the commemorative plate.
Oh my gosh.
But I was sitting there watching this episode going, they're really doing something with Lorcano in this episode? That's kind of cool because he's kind of a side character. And then they mentioned Sito, and I had to stop thinking, Sito, who is? Oh, that's the girl from the Lower Decks episode. Okay, yeah, this is cool. This is all really cool character development. And then I go and start
digging.
I knew there was a connection, but I wasn't sure what it was. So later on in the day, on Thursday, before Bible study, I happened to be on the Memory Alpha page, and I'm looking up Sito because the name Sito was bugging me. I know the name Sito from somewhere besides Lord X. What else was she in a previous episode? Because it's been a hot minute since I've seen both of these episodes, right?
Yeah, because Sito, the name Sito pops up beforehand, right?
I don't think she mentioned her before.
Yeah, I don't think she has either.
This was bugging me from this old Trek knowledge from 30 years ago. When I was a kid, it's like I should know this. And I looked up and go, oh, Sito. Yeah, and Lorcana. Wait, Sito was in that? She was. Holy crap! Mike McMahon, you are the man for pulling these two episodes that I had never connected before in my mind, even though they are connected, and doing something this cool. This is what we should be doing in this show, is bringing back connections that shouldn't be there, but yet are. And it's like,
dude, I love it when you geek out like that. It's so fun.
This was a full geek out episode for me because it's like you are bringing to a head the season storyline here with the probe, and we actually find out what the probe is.
Yeah.
And because we already learned it was stealing stuff, and now we recognize this is Lorcano's ship, basically. Still don't know what he's doing.
Mhm.
But we'll find that out till next episode.
Yeah.
But he was stealing ships for some reason.
Yeah.
The only one that is intact, as far as we know, is the Ma'az Klingon ship,
Yeah.
which he was also in the Wedge Dudge episode. Also,
Oh.
he was the lower decker. We were following that killed his captain, and then
Right.
took over the Klingon ship. In that
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
And we saw him for a short minute in season 1 when his Klingon ship is the one that got attacked.
Yeah.
So all 3 of the Wedge Dudge characters are in this episode.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough.
Yeah.
So you're already doing that cool thing, and then you bring in discount Tom Paris, or really prototype Tom Paris.
Yes.
You get Robert Duncan McNeil to reprise his role, which I'm still sitting there going, do you even remember what you were doing with this character? Because yes, Tom Paris is based on this character. The reason they didn't just go ahead and reuse the character, they said, was because the writers of Voyager felt that Lorcano, while he was a good prototype, what he did was not something they thought they what do you call
not redeemable or
not unredeemable.
unredeemable.
They felt what he did was unredeemable and he should not be the character, but they took what they took basically
the blueprints
of the character and made Tom Paris out of that without even envisioning Robert Duncan McNeil taking the role of Tom Paris. That was that was something they realized afterwards when he came in audition and says, yeah, you already know how to play this character. You're playing him good. You played him good already once. We'll let you be a good guy now. So I'm watching this and then he shows up at the end and going, you're actually doing this. You're actually doing this. This is such a good episode. And did I not call it with Mariner? Back in season 2, I've been telling you this whole time, something happened that got her disillusioned with Starfleet, and that's why she acts out this way. Has done her best to be a ensign this whole time and never getting a promotion.
Yeah, I agree.
Sabotaging her promotions.
I agree with you now. Yes,
I have been on. I may not like Mariner as a character.
Yeah,
but I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah,
and I had this called in season 2. Actually, I may have had this called in season 1, but I definitely had it in season 2, and I have had to defend her to you for 2 seasons, 3 seasons nearly.
3 seasons, yes. So,
I mean, granted, we both don't like her Mariner, but at least
Mariner is growing on me.
At least I understand her, why she is the way she is.
Exactly.
So now that I have geeked out for a bit, your turn.
Okay.
And I just had that weird fear thought any podcaster has after they've done something, they've had something they know they can't replicate. I thought, please say I'm recording. Thankfully, yes.
Oh my gosh. I freaking love this episode. It was such a breath of fresh air. It was like, there again, not knowing the lore, be like not being the Trekkie you are.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching it and I was like, okay, like Mariner, be like when they first start, it's like, okay, they're on this planet and this funny bit with these little, what I would only assume is like Mauser wannabe characters from Mausers from I just lost words.
I'm trying to figure out who you're referring to.
Mausers.
No. I mean, who in the show?
No. Okay.
I don't know what a Mauser is. You're saying Mauser? I'm thinking the mouse enemy from Super Mario Brothers 2. So
okay.
You're going to have to explain who Mauser is.
Okay. A Mauser is a robotic creature created by Baxter Stockman from TMNT. Okay. So they look like Mausers, the little creatures on the planet who are behind the cage.
Are you talking about the purple guys in this episode?
Yeah, the little purple guys.
The Binars?
That
we just saw got blown or stolen 2 episodes ago?
No, not that. This beginning of the episode where they're having to be like, oh, the generator.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, those characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking with the little the things that they were studying.
Yeah, the things they were studying.
Okay,
Yeah, 'cause to me, they look like Mausers from TMNT.
That's fair. Now
Okay.
that you say that, I can envision those characters, even though I
Yeah, jump, jump, jump,
I
jump.
only saw them like once or twice.
Yeah, okay.
And
Because they remind me of Mausers.
Fair
So
enough.
that
Fair
episode, it's okay. So Mariner being Mariner, it's like, okay, yeah, like the generator, the force field's gone down, the guy loses his crap. And they're like, oh, we got to put these suits on because the toxicities, and be like, if they
the antitoxic suits.
the antitoxin suits, they bite you, be like, your eyes will bug out of your head or blow out of your head. It's true.
I felt sorry for that dude.
I did. It was
Like,
hilarious.
oh, you must really love Outpost scientist. No, actually, she hates y'all for some weird reason.
So be like, we have Mariner being Mariner, who runs out in the midst of the danger, trying to get these little creatures her attention, and she winds up getting snipped. Like either her shoe comes off or nipped or whatever, and one of them's on her back, and then she comes back in. It's hilarious. But I'm thinking like, okay, so we get into the episode proper, where apparently Mariner for months has been going just ballistic with doing all these dangerous things. I'm like, okay, it's some side effect from these little Mauser wannabe creatures. That's what I keep thinking the entire episode. It's like it's some side effect. Either her eyes are gonna bug out of her head at some point. And I'm gonna be sad for Mariner. She's gonna die at some point in this episode, which I don't think they would with the main character, but you never know. So
you do never know, but
you never know.
I doubt she will.
I
know we have at least one more season.
Yeah, so that was my theory. It was some kind of fever she was on. She's got an adrenaline rush, and she's like craving danger or something like that. She's going a little more. I'm gonna be Mariner. I'm gonna be try to be reckless about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there again in season 4, be like, I am very impressed where they're going with Mariner. It's like, okay, and then this episode happens. So we'll be like, I'm sitting there watching it, and granted, I think this was before I watched the episodes for X-Men the animated series, which you can listen to later or listen to before and understand where
Whichever.
It's such a palate cleanser this episode is. And so it'd be like, obviously be like they get stuck on the weather radar, not radar, but the satellite.
The weather radar. I'm sorry, that got me. Continue.
But it's like, oh my gosh. And then be like, it's like then their shuttlecraft, I'll call it a runabout because you called it a runabout earlier.
Yeah.
Their shuttlecraft gets blown up by these Klingons, and they get stuck on the planet. And then it's just like, oh great, what is going on with Mariner? She's going nuts. She wants violence. She wants to do stuff. I'm like, okay, whatever she's been infected by these little Mauser wannabe creatures is really getting to her now. And then you get the point where be like her and the Klingon. What's his name?
Ma'a.
Maha.
No, Ma'a.
Ma'a.
It's MA, AH.
Okay.
Ma'a.
Ma'a. Okay. And so they start fighting. The glass storm shows up, and they have to force themselves into a cave.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there
Which I'm half
glued.
expecting. Is the sentient moss here?
I'm sitting there, and they're like, it's Mariner. It's like, oh, we gotta fight. And the thing that freaking blew my mind, I was like, no, this is not our place to fight. We are going to wait and be patient. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a Klingon talking.
Yeah.
So, and then we get this beautiful story of how be like Mariner and like how she doesn't want to be elite. She doesn't want to be anything more than ensign, and why she does this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're doing it. They're giving us our backstory after 4 freaking seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, that's not good. That makes sense now. That makes sense why she does this and this and this and this. She's so crazy as can be, but it makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
now
word.
After I've explained what actually happened
Yeah.
to Rosita,
It's like, oh my gosh, no wonder she doesn't want to be a leader. She doesn't want her friends to get killed.
yeah, she lost a friend.
Yeah,
and
she lost a friend.
And that actually explains that loss of friend explains why she is
Yeah.
so much of a guardian with her 4 friends on the ship.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my word. And then it totally makes sense. And then she kind of becomes the leader she's supposed to. And the Clink, Maha. Am I saying that?
Ma'a.
Ma. Yeah. Ma kind of gives her a pep talk. It's like, be like, you're dishonoring your friend the way you're acting. Stop being a child and be the leader your friend expects you to be. And I'm like,
well, the warrior, but
be the warrior.
He's a Klingon. That's his thought process.
But I was like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking loving this episode. And to be like, they finally get everybody together and like they're trying to figure out what they're going to do, and then Mariner gets beamed up. I'm like, what in the world's happening? And then they discover it's like, oh, this guy who got kicked out of Starfleet, which you explained earlier, was just like, okay, that's kind of cool. That's interesting. And then it's like, oh, this ties them together. And they find out, oh, he's the guy who's building this show stealer.
We don't know what he's doing yet.
Yeah,
we know he's involved.
We know it's his ship.
We know he's involved, and I can tell you for a fact that at least Crusher and 7 of 9, the people they were looking for, are not going to be involved. In whatever this is. Thomas Riker, maybe.
Who's Thomas Riker? He's the clone.
Do you remember a couple episodes back in season 2?
Yeah.
We had that
Boimler got
cloned.
Yeah.
And I said it was based on this incident in Next Generation where Riker got cloned.
Yeah.
But his clone,
that's who that is. Okay.
His clone ended up, it's basically evil Riker, though it's not in the episode. It's in the original episode. It's not really shown that way.
Right.
But when Thomas Riker shows back up again in Deep Space Nine, pretending to be Will. And then to steal the Defiant. For the Maquis, the Federation terrorist group. That's trying to attack the Cardassians, since the Federation won't actively attack them.
Right.
Because it's Starfleet. That is not how they work.
Right.
We know he was imprisoned on a by the Cardassians on Cardassia before the war. Which means no one knows what happened to him.
Huh. Interesting. So he might show up.
He might have run into Sita for all we know. Because if she didn't get killed in that instance, she might be on. They might have known each other then. I don't see Sita knowing the character from those episodes. She's not the kind of person who would be evil, but I can see how
maybe where Riker's clone might have done something to her.
I'm saying I can see how both might be driven for revenge for maybe wrongdoings, but then why are they attacking the rest of everybody else? There is a lot next episode's got to do to explain what's going on.
I agree. And be like, and then you get, it's like the guy in question they've been looking for the entire time beams Mariner up, and it's like, and she knows the guy.
She knows the guy. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
she might have been she might have been part of that friend group. She might know Wesley. If this is the excuse for Wesley showing up in the next episode, I'm fine with this. Because I can see her knowing Wesley if she knew the rest of the members of this group. Interesting enough that she might not feel anything for the guy who got killed as part of Nova Squadron. But that was not a good friend of hers. Maybe that was just somebody.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing here.
Okay.
I am fan theorizing the fact that they just connected Mariner to to that group. In any way.
It's because what was it? Because Sita was like a class above her. Am I right?
I don't remember if they said where she was.
I think it was.
I almost expect. See, either she was in Starfleet Academy at the same time, or
class below her. Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, if she was a class before then they would have been in the same class after that, because Sita was held back along with Wesley and
that's right,
the other guy who I don't remember, while Lorcano got kicked out. So maybe that's how they met, was after that, and they became friends, and she thought maybe the whole thing was garbage. I don't know. But maybe she met the group through that, and maybe she never actually met Lorcano, but she heard about him, looked it up. Well, probably this is the talk of everything.
But she knew him.
But she may have knew of him, maybe not knew him. I don't know. There's a lot we don't know.
She knew.
She even maybe not found out about him until maybe they were stationed on another star.
Okay.
Well, except Sita went straight to the Enterprise. So we don't. They would have had to have met in Starfleet Academy, which is about the right time she would have been in Starfleet Academy.
It makes sense.
She's in her 30s in this, and you take it back. That would have been about the time.
That makes sense, because Mariner has been constantly being like, bump from here to there, here to there, here to there,
Mhm.
because she doesn't want to get any higher, which is now completely understandable.
It's
I freaking love this episode.
also here's another weird lore bit. Season 2 opening scene where she's on the holodeck training in the
Oh.
most epic way possible.
Yes.
She's on a Cardassian ship.
Yes.
Isn't that an interesting little tidbit?
Yeah.
Considering the Cardassians might be the people who have or at least killed Sita.
Yeah. Oh, shiz.
Yeah.
This could get bad.
In all of this, it's not granted. We don't
Yes.
see her being aggressive against Cardassians regularly, but they've only appeared in that one other episode
Yeah.
since season 7 of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
So chronologically,
Oh, I can see this turning
this could
really
go
bad.
really, really weird.
Yeah. Either Sita is actually dead. She did not survive it. And learns that like the Kardashians killed her best friend. Now she wants revenge.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah,
murder
I
to
know.
a T.
You see where I'm at now with this.
Yes.
I am literally having a hard time waiting until next Thursday. Because I'm sitting there going, we've got to know.
I'm curious too. Like there again, not having the lore information you do, going strictly
is-
off that and what you've
which
told
is
me.
why
like,
I
oh
was-
my gosh.
Which is why I was tempted to say, let's hold off on this episode. You go watch these two Deep Space Nine, these two TNG episodes. Let's review that and then come back.
Oh
But
gosh.
you would not. I didn't do that because that's not what this show is. We only did the only reason we did the Strange New Worlds episode
Mhm.
was because
The
it had
tie.
lower decks characters.
Yes.
This doesn't. This
No, it's
we're
just
we should just treat this like we would any other episode.
exactly.
That it would actually have ties to. But I'm still sitting here going, these two episodes of Next Generation just became the most important tie-ins to this show.
Okay, so funny fact.
So I'm still going to suggest you watch it, even though we're not going to review it.
Okay, so funny fact. So be like, I watched this episode and saw it was like, okay, this is interesting. So and then I looked up what they were, and so I'm trying to get it on the app because it's just the app, not through Amazon or anything like that. So I'm watching it. I would click it off and then be like, the episode just freeze. Like midway through, like the first 3 minutes of the episode, just freeze. I'm like, you know what? Forget it. It'd be like, if you don't want me to watch this episode, I won't watch the episode, but I will eventually. Be like, now I'm intrigued.
Of the TNG episode?
Yeah. I knew you were gonna do it. I freaking knew it. You're gonna pull out.
Season 7. Have fun.
Thanks.
You have the numbers. For the episode numbers.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Or just watch all of it. I don't care.
All right. So amazing episode. I can't wait for episode 10 to come out.
Episode 10.
Episode
Which will
10.
be episode 40 of the show.
Yeah. Oh my word. Wow. But yeah, I'm like going from the beginning of season 1, I was so skeptical. Now to the 40th episode of Lower Decks. I'm loving this show so much.
Mhm.
Thank you for introducing me to this show. Now, granted, I know you were very hesitant.
I was hesitant because when this show came out,
Yeah.
I was not the biggest fan of what Reboot Trek was doing
Yeah.
because it wasn't my Trek,
Yeah.
basically. It wasn't bad. It's just it wasn't what I wanted.
Fair.
And then finding out they're making this show with one of the guys who was instrumental
Mm-hmm.
with Rick and Morty,
Yeah.
a show that is, I understand the connection, but I'm still sitting here going, this could get bad in a hurry, especially
Yeah.
with everything they were doing. And just saying, let's just watch this and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because season 1, we were still doing it separate like we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't doing it as part of the episodes. And I'm thinking, if we go through part of the show and we end up not liking,
Mhm.
well, we can just drop it and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then the fact that
getting gooder, better.
after episode 1, we were both there.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just watch this. This is enjoyable. And it's gotten better and better. Yet, granted, a lot of this season has been a little lax,
Yeah. Hit and miss.
hit and miss than some of the others. But, dude, this episode,
Yeah.
it's like you are making up for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that this show is doing so good
Yeah.
when it's like, this still isn't what the Trek I want.
Yeah.
Granted, but this is still an enjoyable show, and I am loving it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Agreed.
Kudos to you Lower Deck guys. I really do love your show now.
Boldly go. My gosh.
Right.
Be like if this is
we at least need to get a 6th season so you can make covers based on all 6 TOS movies.
Yes.
Because I don't know what you'd do after season 6, because then you'd go to the Generations cover, which is kind of dull, and they get dull. The TNG covers are all kind of dull, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, love this episode. Can't wait for episode 10 and to see where they're going to conclude. Be like, do we know how many episodes are left?
There's one more episode of the season, which is episode 10.
Oh, okay.
They're 10 episode seasons, and then we have to wait a year for season 5. Or whenever they get back to it, because of the writers and actors strike. The writer's strike is pretty much done, but the actors strike is still going. So yeah, 2024 Star Trek, who knows? We may not get back to this until late 2025.
Yeah.
Which is going to be annoying as all get out.
Yes.
But stay loving.
Yeah, exactly. So,
because I don't think they got any of season 5 recorded.
But
we know they recorded this last year.
Yeah.
So, because this is how they make them. They make them a year in advance, and then I guess post-production after that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, that's going to be it for us, guys. Looking forward to next week, which we still don't have a name for.
No.
As at the end of this recording. So join us next week for whatever
episode last episode.
I'm going to make a guess. It's going to be called Nova. Or something Nova-ish.
Okay.
In reference to Larcano and Sita's squadron.
Okay.
Also going to make a bet. Will Wheaton will be in the episode.
That'd be interesting.
He should be.
Yeah.
I don't know if he will be. Because here's the thing. Will Wheaton, well, not this season because of the actor strike. He has been doing that Ready Room after show for pretty much every episode of Star Trek since Discovery started. Of course, he can't do it for Lower Decks because of the strike. But we know they know where he is. He could have recorded it last year.
Yeah.
When they were doing the year of Star Trek, basically. So I don't know. Hopefully that will happen.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to where they're going to go. This is the final episode of this season, and to discover what is going on, what's happening, why is all this going on, and does Mariner discover something that is going to lead her down a darker path, or is she going to go I'm
really thinking if there is any chance Sito is alive, it's going to end up being a rescue mission to save her.
Yeah.
By the end of this. Also think Nick Larcano's butt's going to get kicked.
It's like, wait, you did what?
You're that guy? She told me about you. You're dead.
You are so dead.
Anyway, thank y'all guys for joining us. We're definitely looking for the next episode. But until then, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron. And his Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. His Facebook page Drew's Photo Bin to see his photography. His Letterboxd page at GGeorge759. His Twitter at GGeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast. On Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming. On YouTube at Cellcast. On Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell with a single L.